Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I am Jeff Arbuckle. With me, as always, Jason Oliver. Jason.
Howdy.
Hi.
I do a Kiwi accent, but I've been told it's not very good.
No, but Chuck Moore has a better one.
Yes, he does.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Do they say that?
I don't fucking know.
No,
I've never been there.
Okay. Well, anyway, so
Parents
we
don't
are
die.
we are going to the Southern Hemisphere for this week. A movie that has been suggested to us by one of our listeners, watchers, whatever. I mean, it's on.
Listeners, no, they don't get to see us as we.
Well, no, but they.
Maybe one
but
of these days we should think about moving to a proper, video format.
Yeah, but you guys get up too often. It's like, where's those guys just fuck off all the time?
Yeah, but that's all right. That's all
anyway.
part of the show.
Watching Jason take off to go pee.
It's all part of the show.
But no,
Then
this
they'll
is
understand why I didn't understand why I didn't hear you talk about a thing and then come back and say the exact thing that you just talked about for 5 minutes that Chuck also does. So then they would actually have context for that.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I say that because this listener is on our YouTube where we also upload everything. And and this is something that I've also covered during my QLI back in July of 2024 when I covered the only letter I had never done a review of on B-Movie Anima. And that is
this is the one you picked?
This was one I picked. This is by far and away the best of the movies that I picked. The Quiet Earth, which is... this is pretty hard sci-fi type stuff. There is a little bit of a horror element, I guess. I mean, there's an existential horror element, I would say. Certainly a lot of drama, a lot of philosophical ideas. And for the first 30 minutes, quite a bit of dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something for the ladies in there.
I mean, not just the ladies, but yeah, there is quite a bit of dick. Dick and satin, even.
Yes.
Dick's in white satin. Oh, I can see your balls. Chuck did not register that.
No, he's not. He's not paying.
That's so fucking disappointing.
He's too busy with other things. But this is directed by Jeff Murphy, and us Jeffs, GEOFF. That is, we stick together pretty pretty solid. We know Jeff Murphy over here in the States for Young Guns 2.
Yeah.
But
sure do. We also know him kind of for Free Jack.
Well, sure.
That movie is just okay.
Sure. And also Under Siege 2. But that's beside the point. He did some second unit work on Lord of the Rings movies because I think everybody in New Zealand chipped in to work on that. But he was...
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of a big deal, though. I mean...
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, second unit director on Lord of the Rings trilogy is kind of like, yeah, I'll take that feather in my cap over Free Jack any day.
One of the things that I should also bring up is that I don't know if it was a first unit or second unit director on this movie is Lee Tamahori, who did Die Another Day later. So he made a Bond movie. Yeah.
I will also say that I was looking into his filmography and just like how he's considered in New Zealand filmmaking circles. Of the top 10 best films made in New Zealand, like I don't know who did this poll, but I assume it was by Kiwis. He had 3 of the 10.
And I'm guessing it's the three leading up to
It was these three. It was Goodbye Pork Pie, Utu, and The Quiet Earth. All three of those movies are in the top 10 greatest New Zealand films of all time. Yeah. Or at least considered very, very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, Goodbye Pork Pie is, I like this description. It's Easy Rider meets the Keystone Cops. I love that.
I love the image of it. It's calling all cars, stop that yellow Mini.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
But this is kind of a movie that has, I mean, because also Bruno Lawrence, he was born in England, but he was mostly known after he, once he basically grew up in New Zealand. I mean, he's done quite a bit of stuff that's kind of very New Zealand as well. I mean, he was in Goodbye Pork Pie, but I think he's also in Utu.
He is. He's in U2. He's also in Smash Palace, which is a pretty big deal.
Death Warmed Up.
Death Warmed Up. Yeah, that's us deep dive genre folk will know that one.
He's in Jack Be Nimble, which explains why I recognized him when I was watching this.
Oh, I don't know that one. What is Jack Be Nimble?
It's like a 90s familial horror film.
Interesting.
It's one that Vinegar Syndrome released.
Oh, interesting.
About kids that are abandoned by their parents and the siblings find each other.
All right.
In their adulthood.
And it's
actually pretty interesting.
I'll have to pick that up. Yeah.
That's
one of his last movies. Yeah.
He's also in one that I actually hosted on B Movie Enema, the series, Warlords of the 21st Century, aka Battle Truck.
Yeah, fucking Battle Truck.
That movie rules.
That movie does rule.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Oh, I highly recommend watching.
Yeah, that's a ton of fun.
Movie.
It's a ton of fun. It's basically The Quiet Earth, but with battle trucks.
It's no, it's Loud Earth. Yeah, it's The Quiet Earth. If you take out everything that's The Quiet Earth and put Michael Beck into it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a truck in The Quiet Earth.
There is.
Well, yes, there is.
You wouldn't take that out.
There are several trucks. Yeah.
We'll leave those in.
But what's interesting about Battle Truck is that Battle Truck is actually the vehicle of the villain, not of the hero.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. I mean,
yeah.
If you say Battle Truck to me, I think of Garth Knight.
Garth Knight
from Knight Rider in his big ass truck.
Wow, that is a deep pull. I didn't know.
Jeff doesn't even recognize Garth Knight's name.
No, because I know Michael Knight. Because
he's Michael Knight with a mustache.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
that's surprising that flew right by you. That's surprising.
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't seen.
It's like Dixon White Satin.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you packaged Garth Knight in white satin, I might have picked up on that, Dick.
Yeah, he also had the little flavor saver too.
Dude, when you're I was probably 9 or 10. Do you just put a mustache on the good guy and it's like the fucking best?
Exactly. Oh, he had an afro too. Oh,
I haven't watched Knight Rider in 40 years. So,
dude, I tell my watch to set up a smoke screen all the time.
Man, Garth Knight. Wow, he is something. Holy hell! This is where we could put a little image up for our watchers, for our viewers.
Well, when you decide to learn how to do editing, we'll do that. Everybody's putting work on my plate. I get this every day, 9 to 5, and I get it after hours too from you assholes. So, you know what? I actually look for. I look forward to A Quiet Earth, frankly.
We actually do need a fourth member of that's just our producer.
Julie.
Yeah, we need Julie.
Well, Julie quit because we couldn't pay her. She left.
I think we're making a little bit more money now. Not on this podcast, but
Well,
we could get Julie to come back.
Fair enough. So, okay. So The Quiet Earth is based on a book that came out a few years before, 1981, it was written by Craig Harrison, who is also another Brit New Zealander. How about that? But it's I know, Jason, you have some stuff to say because there is some literary inspiration for sure.
Yeah.
And one of those things is definitely I Am Legend in the Last Man on Earth type of.
It is absolutely the biggest influence.
Minus vampires, monsters.
Sure, but the concept.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much of all of the adaptations of I Am Legend deal with that sense of solitude, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's also the Shelley work we'll talk about later.
Which is, I think, a little bit of a lesser influence because it was a weirdly lost. But yeah, we can come back around to it.
But yeah, so the book is it's similar in some ways, but I've never read it, but just going over the synopsis, it seems a lot darker. Similar in the sense that this is a 90-minute movie that is told almost perfectly in thirds.
Sure.
The book is told in 3 chapters, 3 sections. I'm sure there's chapters.
3 stories. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you have in the book, there's Alone, Oppie, and the end is the beginning, which makes me think that Billy Corgan also. The end is the beginning is the end.
Is the end.
Yeah. It's the only good thing.
Billy Corgan is definitely not smart enough to come up with that on his own. But on the surface, it's not even like that clever.
Right. But it is the only. It's the only thing
that's
that's
talking shit about Billy Corgan. That's
okay.
It's the only thing good about Batman and Robin. I will say that.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Isn't that the one with the line "Holy Rusted Metal"? Batman. That's pretty good too.
Yeah.
No, that's Batman
that was
Forever.
Batman Forever.
Damn it.
Yeah. No. Batman and Robin is the one with the bat card. Never leave home without it.
Oh God.
Yeah, and all the ice puns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick around. That's not a nice pun. Never mind.
Yeah.
That is a Schwarzeneggerism, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, so the first book, the first major change in this is in the book, it's John Hobson, whereas this is Zach.
I think there's a
in the movie
change than that.
Well, I said that's the first change.
Okay.
Does the name really matter though? Like,
no, no, but it's the slight changes in the character, because one of the key things about this is that what the effect is majorly different. In the movie, it's more along the lines of the energy scare sort of stuff, whereas the book is more about basically manipulating DNA. But the characterization of Hobson is pretty majorly departs in the movie from the book, because in the book he's not really that good of a guy. He is almost.
You think he is in this movie?
He's better than he is in the book. You guys keep interrupting me.
Well, I mean, you said he's not really that good a guy. I don't think he is in general. So, I mean, sorry.
Well,
I think he's trying to be
right, because in the book he is a guy who is unstable. Like his coworkers deem him to be an unstable person that is purposely trying to derail the effect. And
it's not far off from the movie. We don't really get to see all of that, but he certainly is.
He is against
what they're doing, to the point where he's going to commit suicide over it.
Because and what he does in the book, the reason why he tries to commit suicide is over the fact that he feels an immense amount of guilt because his boss, Piran, part of this kind of railing against this guy who he thinks is unstable. Piran, the manager of this whole project thing, says he has radiation which gave his son autism.
Oh, geez. So he's RFK Jr.?
Yeah, apparently so. He took so much Tylenol just by the fistfuls. But so he's not exactly, I mean, as unstable as Zach Hobson gets in the movie, it feels as though John Hobson maybe starts from an unstable point already. Oppie is also quite a bit different too, because Oppie, you find out later, is in the book. John Hobson doesn't care much for the fact that he's posing in pictures with mutilated Viet Cong soldiers. And that kind of leads to a little bit of...
How did he find that out?
Well, because Oppie has pictures of him photographed with Viet Cong.
I want to say, because I think this is important for what you're saying here. All of the context that you're giving from the book, I think, is supposed to be in the movie, which makes like the second act like really fucking weird. Like the way that people flip-flop on each other and like hate on each other is like, okay, there's got to be good reason for this, but we don't get any of it. So it's a really kind of uneven turn.
It's my biggest knock on this movie is that people are very erratic.
And that their relationships with each other change like on a dime instead of over information or like things that happen. So if I knew this stuff,
but
it would make their reactions to each other a lot more believable to me.
I will also say that there are two moments in this movie where none of it fucking matters because we just found another living human being, right? Which I absolutely adore about this movie. There is an aspect of this movie that is like none of that shit fucking matters anymore because we are in a very unique situation and all we have are each other.
But then they make it matter when it's convenient to the story.
They do, but they also make it matter in a way that seems like naturally reactionary, right? I just found out you killed someone. I don't have the whole story, but I'm going to react a certain way to that, right?
Right.
But I do agree the nuance, it could be more nuanced. There's a lot of like roughing of the edges to this movie that I would love to see someone take another stab at.
Yeah, I didn't like the middle of this movie, but go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry. I just thought it was important because that context actually makes me understand the characters a little better.
To be honest with you, that's weird because I think the middle of the movie is one of my favorite parts of this movie.
I like the middle better too, to be honest. Yeah.
But no, I mean the other major diversion is there really isn't a Joanne in the book. There is a woman that gets hit by a car when they're like goofing off with cars because they don't expect to find anybody else. She gets hit. They end up fighting over. Their relationship ends up deteriorating because the health of this person that they've harmed now deteriorates.
Interesting. So it's a story about John and Oppie?
Yes. And they end up John kills Oppie in the book and then goes off to figure out what to do.
That's vastly different, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's a lot darker is the point that I'm trying. And there is a lot of, they do explain a little bit more about, I think that there's a lot more like kind of symbolism in the religious side of things, in the book.
I can see that. I think they toe a fairly good line with that in the movie. For the most part, I think there's a lot of it is a little bit overt. I mean, what is his name? Our main character?
Zach.
He thinks he's a god at one point, which is perfect.
He's a Lego maniac.
Yeah, he's a Lego maniac. Yeah. I could see, though, that where the book would dive into a little bit more of that. I see some references to Revelation and some other things in the synopsis of the book. Yeah.
I would think, given that context, like, it would be a really good TV show. Like an 8-episode or a 4-episode miniseries where you could go into their lives leading up to that moment and understand them a bit better would be kind of cool. I don't know how much of that is in the book versus.
Well, I mean, I think you're bringing up one of the things I thought of very heavily when I watched this movie.
Lost?
No, not Lost. The Leftovers.
Oh, yeah.
And just the whole concept of the rapture, right? That was very much on my mind watching this movie.
Yes, I kept wondering when people were going to come back in this kind of. Yeah.
But they the Leftovers kind of maybe took a bit of their ending from this.
A little bit.
I don't want to spoil Leftovers for anyone, but yeah, there's something there to that, which we'll get around to. But yes, heavily influenced. Maybe at least on Lindelof's mind was probably this movie.
I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one of the things that's discussed in the book is that 612, the time that everything stops, is a reference to 666, which is 6, and then 6 plus 6 would be 612.
Yeah.
Also, Revelation 6:12, which is, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood.
Yeah.
So there is so that it ties the kind of this sort of concept of
the end of the world,
the end of the world and hell also.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean in the context of the novel? I wonder, because I don't think the movie is that overt in any way.
No, although the producers did, Sam Pillsbury, the producer, was like, Jeff Murphy grew up Catholic, and so he's throwing some Catholic guilt into some stuff here.
Well, yeah, that's
absolutely. I mean,
that's obviously Jesus. That's obviously the scene where he's dressed up in women's lingerie and he's got a shotgun and he shoots Jesus on the cross. I mean, yeah, fuck yeah, that's Catholic guilt right there. Like, yeah. I mean, I relate to that in so many ways, but I don't believe that. I read the same thing you read. I don't believe that it's the end of this movie is so overtly religious as that blurb may say.
No, not necessarily. I mean, certainly the end of the book is majorly more like, okay, well, I'm obviously in hell or in purgatory for something that I am guilty of, is what I think what the book is trying to say.
Yeah, that's not the impression I got at all from the movie. But
the movie is a little more inspiring almost at the end.
100%. And I think the movie is also like so open to interpretation that
absolutely.
That's kind of what makes it so stunning, is it could be so many different things. And we can break all those down later, but we should definitely not do that yet.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and really, as the way that the movie really basically starts is it opens with the sun rising, 6:12 hitting the clock, and then there's this kind of strange, like, strobing effect.
Right.
That basically then, when Zach wakes up, he is, he's planning on going to work, or he's planning on doing his normal thing.
But the radio doesn't come on. They're like appliances that are in his house that operate on their own aren't working. So he notices something's off like right away.
Right. And as he is heading into town, he's going to pick up his mate to take him to work. Nowhere to be seen. There's nobody anywhere. Also, one thing that is not exactly expressed early, but it becomes obvious later. There's no other animals. There's nothing else.
Right. It's not until the maggots are referenced that you really know for sure that is what the case is.
Which is also something that is toyed around with in the book, which is only things on the surface were affected by the effect in the book. If it was something was underground or underwater, those things survived.
So worms would still be there.
Well, yeah, because they find an earthworm and they pull it out of the ground. So worms, fish, they do talk about the fish later, which makes perfect sense.
Yes, it does.
And anytime you actually see another human being, the puzzle starts to piece together as to why you're seeing them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and basically very quickly, Zach realizes nobody else is around. Nobody is anywhere.
He says at one point, "I'm the last man on Earth." And it's like, that's a big assumption, dude. You're on an island in New Zealand, you know.
Well, he's certainly the only one there. Although the body of his boss Piran is at the controls of this big, what we find out later is this network thing that was supposed to give airplanes and air vehicles additional whatever. I mean, basically you fly through it and it will recharge or give you more fuel to make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, so the whole idea here is that there's this scientific experiment, or project, not even
led by the Americans.
Led by the Americans, U.S.-led international consortium.
U.S.-led without giving anybody any actual information.
Right. It's Project Flashlight. So essentially, it's building the fucking machine in Contact. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows just what they're supposed to know to get this thing made, right? And so like New Zealand has some information, but they don't have all the information. And yeah, what it is it's a grid that is going to harness the power of the sun to create this like net around the Earth that is going to create like essentially like free wireless energy,
endless energy.
Yeah. And our main dude Zach, he works on this project. He's not the guy, but he's a pretty smart guy. He knows a lot of science stuff, as we find.
He's one of the scientists that are working on this.
Yeah, scientists. Yeah,
scientists. Yeah, but he also for the months leading up to when the event was going to happen, the effect in this case is what he dubs it.
Yeah.
He starts to kind of get a little weary of it. It's like, why don't we know do we really understand what it is that we're going to do here? It's kind of in a sort of a way that kind of pulls from the whole idea of, like, from creating the H-bomb. It's like, are we going to blow everything up? Do we even know what we're messing with here?
He alluded to the fact that he, through his own independent research, had an understanding of the danger of what they were involved in, and that it could pose very serious consequences. And he was grappling with the guilt associated with being involved in that.
Yeah,
a lot of Zach is defined by guilt.
Yeah, and that's why when he wakes up on the morning of the effect, which was July 5th, which means that the Americans kicked it off on July 4th. Of course they did. Yeah. But he,
Operation Freedom.
Yeah. Operation Fleshlight.
Fireworks in your.
I thought fleshlight like 3 times during this movie when they said flashlight.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Because that's not a word. That's not a word they're used to. They would say torch, wouldn't they? Just like the Brits?
You're right. Well, but it was an American project, so there you go.
There you go. Fleshlight. We're going to fuck the world.
That's a good detail.
This is like a Tesla concept they're working with, too. I think the wireless.
Your fleshlight.
Yeah. Fuck your fleshlight.
Fuck your fleshlight. Got Daniel Day-Lewis out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, fuck it up. Anyway, talk about mustaches. Anyway, so basically what we do find out later, and this is kind of jumping ahead, but he was trying to kill himself because he was so uncertain
Right.
about what was going to happen that he didn't really want to face the consequences of ultimately not saying anything.
It makes me wonder, like, so it's one of those things in the movie that I don't feel like we have enough information about. Because for him to get to that point, he has to know a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like he ever conveys all of that to us throughout the course of the movie. He definitely had his suspicions. He did a lot of science that confirmed a lot of things, but it's like, really? That, like, drove you to kill yourself? Like, what else is
We don't even know what he thinks was going to happen. Like, obviously it wasn't what did happen. Like, he was surprised by that.
So. Right, because he's got to piece it all together anyway.
Yes. Yeah. So there was something he thought maybe it was going to give everyone cancer or something to that nature.
Yeah, like, and it honestly kind of, like, diminishes a little bit of his psychological breakdown, too. Because
that's why I think this would be a good show.
A lot of that is him not yelling at God, right?
Right.
But it's like, he knows that man did this.
Well, I mean, you're right, and he does talk about that. He almost always offers the religious version of what could have happened, but then says, I think it was the grid.
For the record, I do think it's the grid. Yeah, I know. Yes. I love that too. Yeah, I do. Yes. That's the humanism aspect of this, right? It's like pushing away the supernatural. It's like, no, there's a rational explanation for this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he does talk about, like, I do think that his breakdown, I think, does come from the fact that, well, he says it. He was condemned to live when he didn't.
Which breakdown are we? We're talking about his second breakdown.
His second breakdown,
right?
Yeah,
because
not his Fifth Avenue breakdown. This is his second breakdown.
Well, I mean, he obviously had a breakdown if he was going to kill himself.
Right, exactly.
Like, so I wanted to clarify.
No,
but also,
it's a good clarification.
But also at the same time, he doesn't like. I think he feels somewhat confident because, like, if everybody dropped dead and he was truly condemned to live, he would have, I mean, the whole place would be stacked up with bodies everywhere, right? There isn't that at all.
No.
So it's like so to him, this has to feel like hell because at least if everybody died, he would say, well, I was right. And then he would probably ultimately off himself. But with nobody around, I think that does, like, I think he has to try. I think he drives himself crazy by way of saying, how do I, like, what do I do with this? I don't know what to do to get back.
Yeah, I mean, there is the question, like you said, there's not bodies everywhere. So there's still the question, like, did everyone pass on? Is there a religious explanation for what happened to the bodies that are no longer here? Or did they evaporate because of, some kind of nuclear moment or whatever could have happened to them? So he is, I think, constantly, even though he knows it's the science, is kind of constantly wrestling with that. Otherwise, he wouldn't go to God and shoot his kid and say, come out here. I'm gonna It's like my favorite line.
Yeah.
If you don't come out, I'm going to shoot the kid.
Yeah. The kid's going to get it. Yeah. But I think that is something that would break somebody's, especially if you 100% believe in one or the other. Like he's obviously science man, right?
Sure.
So
yes, it's bringing his faith, his actual faith, which is science, into doubt.
Exactly. It just like if aliens landed on Earth, the first people to go fucking batshit insane are probably the super religious.
Well, they'll just think they're angels.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe.
They'll come up with a reason that they're, yeah.
Or they'll think they're demons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably more likely that.
But it will irrevocably change them.
Sure.
In a way that's probably not going to be very healthy. But as he starts to have this kind of because for all he knows right now, for these first 30 minutes of the movie he is the only person on Earth. And he starts to he's shooting Jesus on the cross. He's hanging out with cardboard cutouts of Hitler, telling him that he had his chance. It's his turn now to be the dictator. He's making speeches. He's basically at the end of his rope.
I mean, he's a maniac when he's drinking warm champagne with a raw egg in it.
Yeah.
I have a question because I thought this took place over like a year. But it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's the thing that really was weird to me too. I was like, it was a few weeks. I was like, really? That didn't take long.
Oh, no. He went over the edge real fast.
Yeah,
but again, it speaks to his prior mental state, right? So It's something we don't have a context for.
We don't know yet. Yeah,
but we still don't even know fully. Even then, when we do know, right?
What we do learn at least lends some credibility to it.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Enough that I can believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he decides, well, I'm just going to start tearing down cities. And he's like driving bulldozers through buildings and stuff, his own battle truck. Yeah. He starts to have kind of a break when he runs over a baby carriage. And it's like, at this point. But then there's something that pulls him back from that edge, and he decides not to kill himself. And he actually retires to the coast.
Yeah. And he fills out the change of address form.
Yeah.
Yes. and he builds robots. He builds like a little robot lawnmower.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but and he has a whole AI. He has a whole Siri situation going on.
Wait, what?
Well, I don't know. I still don't get how that works. Is he connected to the grid somehow?
I'm guessing it probably. I'm guessing there's some sort of. I'm guessing that was something he had access to. Yeah, but basically, he's starting to get back to a scientific life because he starts to notice that something is weird about the sun.
Yes.
Yeah.
It flickers when it shouldn't. But around this same time,
and the UV rays are raising.
Yes, he's got a whole chart with his Siri AI person. Yeah. But this is when we meet Joanne. Joanne has been following him for a few days. And we should probably also mention one of the very first things he does, which is pretty smart, is he goes into the radio station and he sends out a repeating broadcast to where to find him. And then when he moved to the mansion, he updated that.
That's what I was joking about when you filled out the change of address form. Sorry.
Yeah. I wanted to mention something. Sorry, just to backtrack a moment because it just reoccurred to me because I lost it and now it's back. You mentioned like the religious aspects of this movie and his like waking up and there not being anyone, right? And it's like, has he transcended? Is he in hell? Is he somewhere? I think probably purgatory, which I think the filmmakers were going for, is the more apt metaphor here, where like this transitory period. But I do think it's important to point out the influence of Romero here, and specifically Dawn of the Dead, where very much like built on the concept of when there's no more room left in hell, the dead will walk the earth, right? And the fact that there's a very, very specific, like hellish earth that those people are on, but he is devoid of all of those challenges, but has all the same perks, right? He's going through the mall and he's getting whatever he needs. He's eating like I don't know how many day-old pastries, which I thought was weird.
Well, yeah, that was
only
one
3
thing where it's
weeks.
It was only 3 weeks.
yeah.
They have staying power. He's like, you know, he's getting supplies. He's like building himself up for like a nice life and upgrading his life. It's like that whole sequence in Dawn of the Dead where they're like kind of making the mall their home, right?
Right. Well, I will say one thing I will offer as a counter to one thing you said there was,
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure that the filmmakers are specifically stating that there's a hell or a purgatory. I think it's more of a shift in dimension. I think it's a dimensional shift.
I don't disagree, but I think there's a connotation there. I think they're more happy. I think they're more than happy for people to take that away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I think probably it's all dimensions, right? Like, you know, whether or not you're a ghost or you're in purgatory or in hell or whatever, it's a dimension.
Well, I think
hell
depending on how
right?
how religious you are as a person or how secular or whatever is how you're going to take that stuff.
Sure.
Which is cool because like you guys mentioned in the front, you can take it any way you want.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not telling us you have to believe this means this. Right. Yeah.
And I think that the end of this movie is very similar to the end of 2001 in the regards that take from it what you will.
Right.
Yes, that is very true. And I love the idea that an afterlife is a dimension, right?
Yeah.
Like the if there is a heaven or a hell or a purgatory or any number of dimensions in between, that it's all a dimension that can be accessed and understood by science, right?
That's what made me think of Lost in a way while I was watching this too.
Totally
along with both Lindelof, like
yeah, totally makes sense. I 100% he likes this movie. But yeah, I mean, and you think about even like schlockier stuff like Event Horizon, right? Like that idea that hell is just a dimension. Like we can be sent there by some sort of like chemical reaction and death, but we can also access it, you know, through science. I think that's fucking fascinating.
Yeah, we can fuck up and put ourselves there, man.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the age old we're playing God, right?
Yeah. You twist too many levers and you'll get some unexpected results.
There's a whole nother aspect to this that maybe I shouldn't bring up until later.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm write a note.
Write a note.
Jason, do you want to talk about, since we haven't really started talking that much about Joanne, do you want to talk about like the whole Shelley story, one of the very earliest sci-fi stories ever?
Well, that's an interesting one to me because I didn't know about that story until I was doing a little bit of research for this episode, and that Mary Shelley wrote a story called The Last Man in the 19th century, you know, I mean, like long fucking time ago, way before Matheson. And it was kind of a lost,
way before H.G. Wells.
A century before Matheson, right? So it's like holy hell. She's kind of an amazing mind. But it was lost. It was kind of like pretty much lost and rediscovered in, I think, the 60s.
Yeah.
So even after Matheson. So it's interesting to me that we could have this concept from Matheson that is so influential, right? This idea of the last man on the earth, regardless of whether it's vampires or whatever, like this idea. And then you had the Twilight Zone episode, and you had you've had the Vincent Price movie, and so many adaptations of that concept. And there was it's been a comedy series with Will Forte, right? I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where it's just an interesting idea that people want to play on. It's like a remix. How can I take this idea and do something different with it? It's not unlike my sort of thing that I obsess about with the most dangerous game, right?
I think
or why the last man, even though there's women. But
right.
Sure.
Well, yeah, exactly. And even Shelley wrote it as a man. I don't know where I was going to go with this, but yeah, it's an idea at its core that I think just resonates with people.
I think it's built into our monkey brains.
There's a fantasy aspect to it. There's a horror aspect to it, right? There's a philosophical aspect to it. Like, who am I? It's existential when you're the last person on Earth, right? Yeah.
Who's going to help me when I need something?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we human beings are the most interesting species because we manage to be both solitary and communal.
Yeah.
And there's no line separating that. Sometimes we want to be alone, but we also can't. You know, and it's a strange thing, and I think that's why it's kind of wired into our psyches that this is a story that we like to tell or to think about.
And you kind of, it's a perfect segue when you mention Joanne, because that she brings that to this story. Like, Zach is perfectly happy on his own in a lot of ways, and he's going to science this shit out. He's like fucking Matt Damon on Mars. But Joanne is like, she talks about all these things that are messy about humans, and this is, God, how I miss them. Right?
Yeah, she thinks it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she brings that warmth of humanity back into this movie. And it's very clear they're not a good match. Like,
no, I mean,
but in my mind, you think, well, they're the last man and woman on Earth. Is it inevitable? You know, so then this is kind of where we get a little bit of where this becomes a remake of a movie I haven't seen, but I really want to now, from 1959, called The World, the Flesh, and the Devil. Which, did you read the synopsis of that movie, Jeff?
Mm-mm.
It's pretty much this movie.
Yeah.
In the sense of the love triangle, but it's a little bit different. Like, our main character, who would be Zach in this, is played by Harry Belafonte. So they kind of switched.
Oh.
They kind of switched the races up a little bit, and the Mel Ferrer comes out later, and he kind of steals the lady, right? But it's got like a racial element to it. It's very
There's a little bit of that in this. I mean,
definitely there is. Most definitely is, and that's that movie. I think probably more than anything is the real kind of like social and human sort of influence for this movie. Yeah, from what I've read about it, anyway, it seems very compelling that this was kind of an unofficial remake. Yeah.
I will say that, you know, I mean, there's an amount of levity in the second act that makes you feel good about the movie, right? Like one of the reviews at the time that this movie came out did mention that the movie never goes so dark that it becomes watchable or an unpleasant experience. And I think a lot of that happens from this point forward because, yes, they're not a good match, but they are.
Well,
they are a good duo.
Well, they're seemingly the last two people on Earth that is going to bond you no matter what, right?
Sure.
And they both, he's in a better place, although he does tell her about his breakdown.
Which she already knew about, though.
Yeah, because she's been watching him, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't call myself God.
and she only kind of inserts herself into his situation when she
feels safe.
He's in a more stable place. But she still has a gun.
Sure.
Right? But there's that moment. This is one of those moments in this movie. This is the first of two, maybe three, where I'm just like, man, what a nice thing. Like they drop all pretense, they drop all fear, they drop all the baggage, and they just hug one another because they're so fucking happy that they can connect with another human being. And there's something beautiful about that.
Well, yeah, it's the biggest want or need anyone could have right now, because everything else is plentiful.
Everything else is plentiful. Yeah. Yeah. That connection, that human connection.
Yeah.
And she craves it because she tells us later how much she misses it. And that's the reason why she decides to put herself out there. It's almost like it's weirdly almost like out there, like social cues in dating, right? She decides, all right, I think this is going to be safe enough. And she kind of plays her hand, and it's reciprocated in a safe way. Now he does, he's a guy with a dick. He does kind of want more from her, and he kind of pesters her for it for a while.
I do like when he puts her to bed the first time, though, when she's on the couch. Nice. It's very nice because you can see his restraint, but you could also see his yearning, and you could all of it.
It's very nice.
It's almost like Bruno Lawrence is a really good actor.
Well, it's also it's very well written too. It is. It could
and it's well directed as well.
It could have gone like a really dark place.
Oh, sure. And even
because I wasn't even sure about him, because we've been set up to see his lunacy, his maniacal side, right? And we don't know how stable he is.
And I think it's important, too, that they don't let you know why he was that way yet. Right. Because it puts his motives in question. We didn't know that he was guilty because of what they did to people. That
he approaches her on the couch. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
if we knew that he was guilty over what they were doing, we would have already trusted him a bit more.
Right. It would have kind of undercut the tension of the scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he also is like, oh, you're just a kid. Kind of kisses her on the forehead and, kind of covers her up. And it's like, all right, that's good enough. But the fact that they spend the whole evening just kind of getting to know each other, just talking about the stuff that they've been like her walking through the hospital when it's quiet is so weird. Like talking about things that you would never think about being weird until now.
And then her saying, I didn't pretend I was God or think I was God, letting us know that he's been open with her without making us hear all that.
Yes.
Is good storytelling too.
Yes.
Yeah. And, so even with the little bit of pestering that where are you going to sleep over there? I thought you would say so. That is still, there's nothing
it feels human.
It does. Because at the end of the day, it's like, she also relents in a natural way too.
She's not, it's nice that she's still selective, that she's still, it's not like you're the last guy. And I think you guys kind of alluded to that too.
Right.
It's natural that we would, have to procreate or something at some point. Right.
Or
whatever. But
she seems perfectly fine with,
she gets to know him and she gets to realize that she does appreciate him in that way, at least to some degree.
I like that. I also like how, her description of how people can be dumb and ugly or dumb and pretty or pretty. Or if
it's
you're
pretty
really,
funny.
If you're really, if you're really lucky, you get to be, extremely gorgeous and smart and extremely intelligent. And at one point he says, don't be gorgeous.
Yeah, he does say don't be gorgeous to her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also says, gosh, you're pretty. And she says, are you calling me stupid? So they make two good jokes out of that.
Yeah. And it's just, again, it's just showing that these are people who they may come from different backgrounds. They may come from different places. They may be in different places, certainly different ages, but they get along pretty well.
Are you calling this the second part of the movie or the first part?
This is the second act. Because
then I like this
stuff when she gets here.
Yeah, I like all this stuff with just her and him.
When they finally decide to get a hotel room, the next morning cracks me up so much because, they sleep together. She brings him breakfast and he's like, is there anything else you would like? Because she's pretending to be the maid. And he's like, oh, I would like some more crumpet. She's like, sorry, no more crumpet.
Off.
And then turns around and her ass is out. That is fucking hilarious.
And then he also say come back to bed or something like that.
Yeah. And she walks up. Yeah.
And then he gets a dick burn.
Yeah. Anytime that you've got ass out under like an apron, that always gets me to laugh. I don't know.
Like in The Naked Gun 2.5.
Yes, exactly.
All right, I want to pose a question. They start to talk about needing to find people, right? Mm-hmm. And they need to find them. The places where they might be able to conceivably find people would be in hospitals or prisons.
Yes,
because they would not necessarily be able to escape, but there could be people alive there. And then Zach makes a comment, well, like essentially good riddance, right? But she was like, well,
no, he says, well, would you? Because she says no, no telling what kind of manners of monsters we would find, and she says, well, you would have to. We have to.
We would have to. And so it's an interesting. That's an interesting concept that isn't explored any further.
Yeah,
I mean, she goes into a hospital and doesn't find anyone, but yeah.
And he goes into nowhere and doesn't find anyone.
No, because he becomes consumed with what happened and how do we fix it, and why is the sun blinking.
But like a longer format here could kind of get into more of the philosophy around that. Because, okay, well, let's say you do find someone. Let's say you do find someone in prison, right? Or you do find someone in a mental hospital. What do you do with them? Like, what do you do? I'm not saying there's any right answer, but what do you actually do?
Well, I would say that there's at least one wrong answer, which is yes, that would be the wrong answer. But there's a million right answers, right?
But it's a fascinating idea. It's like, do you just ignore it? Just ignore it. Just like, don't go looking for problems, right?
Yeah. Well, once you know they're there, that creates its own
well, it's exactly right, and that's where you think, well, who are you in this situation? Are you her or are you him? Like, would you go looking for a problem like that? Because I
would do what he did, go looking for a solution, not more problems.
It's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
it's fair. But
I mean, of course, none of us are going to science this shit out.
But this is like
I agree with you, Chuck.
The humanistic ethics of this movie, right? That I wish they went a little further with in some places. His desire not to do that tells me two things, or at least this is what I was thinking. It tells you about them for sure.
Well, one, it tells me that he is still stuck on trying to find the solution. So I'm not too, he's not too worried about that. I think he's worried about things getting in the way of that.
Yeah.
Number two is I think there's another side of him that thinks that he's effectively in Eden at this point, right? Like he was in purgatory. Now he's in a sense of Eden where everything's plentiful. He's with a pretty cute chick and he doesn't want to change that either.
Yep.
But
that's fair. That's true. That's true.
I mean ultimately what he really wants to do is because he lies to her because he goes and gets the science-y stuff started when he's supposed to be looking for people.
Right.
Yeah, he's given her fake addresses, or not fake addresses. He's looking at a map and saying, I'm at this place. When he's clearly not.
Yeah.
Right.
He's also kind of sent her off on an errand that he doesn't believe in. He's like, I'll check the university. You check the coast or whatever. It's like, he knows he's not leaving the university. Right. They have equipment there that he needs access to. Yeah.
The first the first clue does come up as to why there are physical remnants of people around, because they find two people who had a car accident.
Yeah.
And their bodies are there, and one person was trying to call for help. And that gives a little bit of an indication as to why something might remain behind, because she also talks about seeing the body of a baby.
Yes. Yes.
Because she woke up from a coma.
Uh-huh.
And when she was alone in the hospital, there was a single body of a baby. But it had not been decayed to the point that would have made sense.
Right.
For it to have died before.
It had maybe been less than a week, I think she said, or something like that.
So, yeah, I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly what she says, but yeah, I mean, like, so you start to see a little bit of indication as to why there are physical remains of people behind.
Yeah, this will get into I think one of the more fascinating discussion topics of this movie is that concept. But we can talk about it when we want to talk about it.
We are rushing headlong at this point into the third act because he's going to go pick her up.
Oh, wait a minute. We can't. We got to go all the way back to the first act just for a second.
Oh, go right ahead.
Because we cannot not mention the fact that Zach plays the saxophone in the rain with sunglasses on at night. Because he's in the middle of his breakdown after only being the last man on Earth for like a week. It's so amazing. It's like the beginning of his breakdown. He plays saxophone on the streets.
I already do.
Or something. Auckland.
I do a lot of goofy stuff when I'm here in my apartment by myself, so I can't imagine I'm well prepped for this moment. Let's do it.
I wish someone would do like a color correction on this movie, because that my photo that I took, I did a little bit of filtering on it. I made it look way cooler. I made it look like it was from Blade Runner or something.
Yeah.
It didn't look nearly as good as that in the movie, but I took a picture of it because it's such a cool shot. And there's another really cool shot where he's where right before he shoots Jesus, where he's in the I think it's like a train station or something, and there's this huge and the sun shining down on him, and he's like wearing that like women's slip, and he's just like about to like freak the fuck out.
That and the shot when he's near the plane wing is really cool too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another point I want to make about this movie, like just anecdotally and subjectively. I didn't expect it to be this well made. I've been aware of this movie. I've kind of like seen it and always looked like
the sets seemed like expensive.
Everything just kind of seemed cheap about this movie, like from the formats of how it was released and some of the promotional art. Right? I was like, this doesn't look very good. But it was not what I expected. Like, it was a much bigger budget than I expected, and it was very well shot, very well acted. Like, everything technically about this movie far exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. Every time, oh God, here we go. I have to say it with the downed airplane. I think that's the opening page of Infinity Gauntlet #2. After Thanos snaps, there's an airplane that crashes into the streets of New York because the pilot disappears.
Are you saying they copy that for?
Well, no. They didn't. No, I mean, this was before that. But like,
you're just making.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. It's like, yeah, Thanos went a little crazy this time.
Yeah, Thanos snapped twice.
Yeah.
I was definitely getting those leftover vibes at this point too, because I was like, man, that's.
I was feeling 28 days later at this point of the movie.
A little bit of that. Yep.
Oh yeah, especially because there's a whole thing about 28 days later that's about the culture and like where Britain was pop culturally and how busy it is and how it's then completely and totally vacant.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother level of horror that we as Americans can't even identify with, really. At least from that movie's perspective.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so at some point, Zach has to go and meet up with Joanne, and he rides himself into what's effectively a trap. An army truck basically blocks his path, and he comes across a Maori fella named Api. And he is, he's got a machine gun on him. He tells Api that he's the only person. There's nobody else. And then, of course, Joanne radios through the walkie-talkie. And Zach does have a good point. It's like, what would you have said if it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Which is it's like you're trying to not hurt anybody else. And obviously there's going to be a sense of male jealousy tinge. This guy's younger, he's bigger than he is. It's like there's that, and then there's also a protective element.
Right.
But he agrees to take Oppie because in a way this is exactly what Joanne's looking for, is somebody else, something else. And so he takes her, or he takes Oppie, or he leads Oppie to him.
I like how you say he agrees at gunpoint.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, he doesn't really have much of a choice. Here. Right. There's not much of an agreement, but at the same time, this is what Joanne's looking for, right?
Right.
And of course, there is, the I don't know, the most subtle shot in the whole movie of them standing in a triangle shape. But what do? They size each other up, and then they all embrace. So it's kind of like that same thing that happened and to Oppie, these are the first people he's run into.
I'm curious at this moment too. Like, my first thought was like, at what number of people does this stop? Not this movie, but this sense of like dropping all pretenses and just hugging. Like at a certain number, you're going to get wary. Right? Sure. Like, you've become comfortable again being around people, and that luster of other people is gone. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do, but I think there's more at play in this scene than just the "I'm happy to see you."
Oh, I mean, the way Joanne moves away from Zach. Well, yes, that's pretty obvious.
There is attraction. There is relief. There is just, you're playing against this person's type in so many different ways. Like in New Zealand,
which person?
The Oppie.
Okay.
I mean, he's a native, right? So you're playing like with a racial stereotype there in this movie. He's also like all commandoed up with a automatic weapon, so he's
sure.
You don't know like what kind of like, I mean, this could be like fucking Tucker and Dale out there. Right. This could be like, what type of American are you? So it's like you don't know what you're dealing with there. Just the unstable fucking violent redneck, right? So it's a relief, I think,
I think though there is one thing
Zach in some ways, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, this is the guy who's not going to protect the two of them, probably, is what Zach thinks. But for Oppie and Joanne, this is a generational connection too.
Sure,
she kind of peacocks for him a little bit in this scene too.
A little bit. I mean, she is sliding away from Zach.
Oh yeah,
and there is wait. I'm not just stuck with this guy who's like the age of my father,
right?
Or something,
right? 100%. And also, like they embrace, and their tension is released. But if you're not thinking three's a crowd, you're not a human being, right?
Right. Well, I mean, Zach is like immediately paranoid, even in his relief. I think, like, immediately, and not because he thinks Oppie is going to hurt him. But for other reasons.
But it picks up immediately. The immediate threat is diffused, and there is a nice moment. And I think everyone is relieved in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that very night, this is when they eat fish. And they're like, and Zach hadn't even thought about the fact that there's fish, and it's Joanne that says, well, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the fish dumped their sperm like 2 weeks ago.
Right. It's like the eggs are left behind.
Stop being beautiful.
But yeah, it's like, and that makes a lot of sense, which then we find out that Oppie was fighting with his friend. He doesn't say why yet. But they're fighting, and he said he could see himself, like he was having an out-of-body experience, and then all of a sudden, the guy was gone. And, it was like right at the moment of death.
And she's like, you thought if you could run through that light that you could just go.
Right.
And then they show her getting electrocuted.
She was electrocuted, yep.
by her hair dryer, which is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Well, back in the 80s, that happened a lot, I think.
Did anyone else think Gregory Hines when they saw Oppie for the first time? Like he came tap dancing onto the screen, onto the truck.
That's amazing.
I was like, that's Gregory fucking Hines. What's he doing here?
That was the thing that Chuck thought of earlier that he made a note of and bookmarked for
What's that?
Yes.
Francis Ford Coppola movie. What Gregory Hines? I thought. Never mind. Whatever.
Enemy Mine is another one that kind of fits in the sci-fi realm a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, and basically, I mean, Zach doesn't tell them what his thing was.
Right.
He's just like, oh, okay.
We see it at this point though as viewers, right? We learn it, but they don't, because we see him kind of remembering back to that night, and they just show a pill bottle on a medicine shelf, and you're like, okay, well he ended his own life. But it's not brought up. You're right. It isn't given to the other characters, even though they learn it at some point somehow.
Yeah. So let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about the science and the metaphysics around this scenario, that only those who are in the grasp of death can survive being vaporized off the earth when the effect occurs.
Here's where my note is, by the way. But I want you guys to talk about yours first.
I think we're all going to talk about it, but
I mean, I think
would like
it's the
theories.
same. I think it's the same kind of concept as a near-death experience where you feel outside of the normal, like, you know, it's like it's a dimensional thing, right? Like, I'm still buying into the earth has been split, basically, and there is the earth of the people who were in the throes of death that still exist on one version of the earth, and then the other version that's like everybody else is like, hey, what happened to everybody else? You know, what happened to some of these people that were here, that were laying in this bed, and now they're gone?
Sure, but I'm saying, like, if this is a purely an event explained by physics, why does it matter if you were in the process of death or not?
I mean, if it may be sciencing the idea of a soul, some sort of consciousness removed from your body.
So, but the effect can only vaporize your body if it has a soul in it.
So your soul is no, because even Oppie describes it as having watched himself from the third person. So I think you do need to be detached but still connected.
Right, because
so that the vaporization disconnects your soul and it hangs out long enough, and then you're still there.
So the vaporization happens, your soul has left your body, but it's still in transit. But then, for whatever reason, like you did not die, right? Like it's a near-death experience.
It's near-death experience.
Like the effect is the reason why you survived. It's a near-death experience, so you're brought back. You survive your face with death, and you also survive the effect.
Yeah,
but it's interesting because it's like that is not something that you can explain with science.
My new working theory.
That is very metaphysical, right?
Sure.
My new working theory is that they actually just fucking died.
Okay.
And there was no event. Zach just brings that idea to the rest of them. So they're in the purgatory of having died.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Just a thought, though. Like, none of what he thinks happened actually happened. They're just dead.
They're dead, or they've just been transferred.
Right. They've moved on to whatever the in-between is.
I think it could have been anyone who had been transferred. The only people that don't make sense to me are the ones who, like, were dead. But I guess maybe they were just dead, right?
Well, they made it across and they died. Like, I think
then they died shortly after.
Peary, or what's his name?
Peary.
I think he died just like 10 seconds too late.
because that
To
to me
have
is like
survived it.
I'm not going to get into the details of the leftovers, but that's kind of the leftovers.
Yeah.
Well, there's two things. One, this. So okay,
Because I don't think they died. I don't think they died. I think they transferred. They
realm shifted or dimension
They
shifted.
dimension shifted.
I mean, I think
my working theory. Yeah.
yeah, that is where I land generally.
And I think everyone did.
Yeah, I
don't think anyone died except the people who actually fucking died.
right. The people like in the car.
But the people who had shared an experience like they did, who had a near-death experience, maybe shifted together.
Or, well, go ahead, Jeff. You've been trying to say something.
So there's two things. One that supports what, like the dimensional shift, which is what I kind of buy into, which is just layers of existence or multiple existences that can kind of breathes and contracts and contrasts and all of that stuff, right? Constricts and what have you. But another thing to kind of support your idea, Chuck, and it is something that is floated by some people, and it is also mentioned in this movie, is that, yeah, Zach died, and these two other people are effectively like angels guiding him to his next
And he says it himself.
destination.
even.
He says,
Yeah.
I feel like you've known each other for a long time,
Yeah.
and or some essence of you know each other for
So
a
a
long
less
time.
overt like shepherds have come
Yeah.
to get you and bring you to the next plane, which effectively they do.
They do, yeah.
There's something so geocentric about that. I just don't like it, but it could be.
It reminds
that's your lapsed Catholicism, though. Also, probably.
It just
reminds
seems so.
me-
It just seems so individualized. Yeah,
But your death would be individualized.
I
Yeah.
know, but
Death is
who else-
probably the
who else
most
is gonna
lonely
experience your
experience.
death with it?
Right, that's going to be the most lonely experience of your life.
This probably like to if
So
that
he's-
were the case, this would happen for literally everybody. We're just seeing Zach's version of it.
it is.
which does.
When
I
you
do
consider-
also
when
kind
you
of
consider
agree.
the ending. It is interesting. It is interesting because he's like kind of upsetting the apple cart within the apple cart.
Yeah,
No, I think he takes the bait
Do you think
a little bit at the end.
Ooh, that's a different take. Yeah, maybe. He's like,
And that would lend more to the shepherding.
Move along, little doggy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff. You were
well, I was also going to say this. Like, I'm not against I mean, like, I'm always up for a sort of Jacob's Ladder type of scenario too, right? Like, I'm always up for that in a movie or in a scenario or in a
Well,
story.
that's the biggest thing, right? Like, what are these planes? What are these dimensions? Where you ultimately think he is at the end is probably how you take this movie all together, and how much you like it is based on what you believe there
It's so
a little bit.
It's
I'm not even describing it well, but it
no,
reminds
you are though because it is. You're right. It's just so it's the perception of your belief system. Your belief system is absolutely going to make you interpret this movie in a different way.
absolutely.
It just absolutely is. And yes, you can see all the angles, but you're going to have an idea that you prefer based on
You're going to land somewhere,
yeah. And that's
maybe
kind
on
of,
an alien beach.
it's the beauty of it. Yeah. I mean, or the Midnight Special, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So basically, the good time starts to kind of sour a little bit because, and I say sour. This is going to obviously be subjective, but Zach realizes that Joanne has a lot more interest and a lot more in common with Hoppy, which of course she would, and he starts to feel like that third wheel. But what he ultimately starts to preoccupy himself with is, hey, don't you think it's kind of weird that the sun flickers? To which they're not really paying attention to that. but he begins to hyper focus on, which then he does start to figure out that on the current trajectory of where things are headed,
The event's going to happen again.
the event's going to happen again, and the world that they are on or that they're sharing is going to poof. It's going to go away one way or another. It's going to, something likely bad is going to happen.
Right.
Now, in the meantime, and it's a shame that Jason got up because he doesn't trust anybody who goes for a jog in leather pants. But Oppie reveals to Joanne why he and his friend were fighting. And it was over his friend's wife, who Oppie says he killed. To which that freaks her out a bit. And I think that is, I understand what you're getting at, Chuck, as far as like that being a kind of a jump to, but not.
This is a part I don't like. I said it was the second part, but this is the part I don't like.
Yeah, this is the third act because we're rushing headlong to the end of the movie at this point. It's like everything is all downhill from here. But I personally do, like, I think what Jason was kind of getting at, and we can double check when he returns. My suspicion is that her reaction to it, while it seems quick, I think it is somewhat natural because 1/3 of the people that effectively exist in this world of theirs are murderers.
Two-thirds. If you consider Zach not speaking up and the reason he was guilty in the first place.
Well, that's fair too, right?
There's mass murder on his
right. So,
in a sense,
Jason, we're at the point now where Joanne has learned that Oppie, in his words, killed his friend's wife. In his words again, because it was necessary.
Yes.
So,
and she's like bringing up the idea that, you know, only God can determine who should die, not you. So do you think you're a god, basically? Which goes back to the earlier conversation with Zach about thinking he was God on this earth. So she does take issue with anyone who doesn't just see themselves as a human. And
this is also where, like, I kind of break from your theory.
It throws a wrench in it.
Because I don't like the idea that they're just gonna play these characters off individually to throw us off the scent.
I don't think this part of the movie makes sense even a little.
Yeah.
I don't. When you were gone, I will say when I said the second part of the movie, I didn't like it's this exact moment.
It's this moment.
Whatever, all this tension that is built.
Agree. I totally agree. It's very. It's just very.
It's like we need gasoline to move this thing forward, like or something.
There's just not enough connective tissue.
well, what I was saying though is that I think that part of what why things kind of devolve very quickly here. One, we have like from the moment that we first met Joanne, she did have things to say about like, oh, like, and not the very first scene, but very early on in her entrance into this movie, she talks about, it's like, oh, all these men that are playing God.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
To which now, okay, she makes fun of Zach playing, claiming that he's a god, but then also takes issue when she realizes that he was part of this project, thinking that he was a god or a god, a group of gods.
Yeah.
Oppie has killed somebody, or to everything that she knows at this point is that he said he killed his friend's wife.
Right. Yeah.
To which, as Chuck was saying, it's like, 2/3 of the people left on this world that has been built for these three.
Right.
Are murderers. I think she is right to kind of bounce back against, or, like basically hit back against that and be nervous and unsure of what she's gotten herself in.
I don't think your read is wrong at all. I just think the execution in the movie is tenuous.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's just the way it's put together. It's the editing. It's the storytelling. It's not the concept. Like her motivations make perfect.
So I do agree with you, Jeff. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also do like, though, because when Zach hurries back, when he realizes, oh shit, everything's going to happen again in like 2 days, basically.
He's like, oh shit, we got to go now.
We got to go now because we got to go get stuff to get into, we got to blow up this part of the net to make it fail, basically. And I do like the fact that now it becomes aware to Oppie what Zach's part of this was. And Oppie has a really good line here. He's like, because he's like, they didn't tell you and you didn't tell me, you're all the same to me, which I do think is kind of an attitude that a lot of younger generations have towards older, quote unquote, authority figures. That,
well, yeah, I mean, you feign ignorance so far up the chain, right? Like,
right.
Just because you didn't know doesn't mean you're not obligated to tell us.
Right, exactly.
What you do know.
Right, and Oppie is, and that creates a little bit of tension, but they do work together because at the end of the day, they don't want to, I mean, they also experience, each of them experience another shift of sorts, like a small shift.
There's the pre-tremor or whatever they
Right.
call it, where they're walking on walls and it looks like Twin Peaks for a moment. Or something.
Right. Yeah, David Lynch came in and
They're all in the white room. Yeah.
Somebody brought out the strobe light.
but it's not
That event you like is coming back in style.
right. But it's unsettling to them. So yeah, they, it's like they realize that something worse could happen. And they're all dimensionally separated. They can hear each other, but they can't see each other.
Right, because they're all shifting in and out of whatever dimension they all end up in.
Yeah.
Which we don't even
also
know if they end up in the same place again.
Right, could be like similar versions of each other. Yeah.
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 And some of them may have returned home for a brief second.
Sure.
It would have been cool if during that we saw like a busy street or like the inhabitants of that house actually being there before they settled.
Yeah.
Like, that would tell you a lot. Right?
Again, another comic book reference. It'd be like when Dr. Manhattan was reconstituting himself.
I made up the whole thing.
And they see, like, people start seeing something fading in and out. Yeah. That would be kind of cool. I mean, it would certainly change the interpretation of this movie.
I can assume that's all out there, but I mean, something happened to those people. Either they stayed where they're at.
Yeah.
Right. And only these three characters in the dead bodies shifted, or
right.
They're all in another. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It would have been interesting if they dug up a grave. What would have been there? Would there have been dead remains, or would they have been gone?
I think there would have been, because if you're shifting dimensions and there's a grave there would be something buried there. More interesting would be is if you went to a grave that you expected to be there and it wasn't.
That brings up the whole, like, I was going to mention this earlier when I was, and I probably brought it up on this podcast before, but when I was like 21, I was leaving the Silver Fox, which is a bar. And I had a near death. I say near death because I almost got hit by a car. And for a week and a half after that, I felt like I was in a different, like, universe, almost like in some universe I died. And this is the one where I lived. Yeah. That's kind of strange to say out loud. But Jason, you probably even heard me say this before. Maybe not. Yeah. But it's like these people keep splitting off, right? The continuum, or whatever you want to call it, into different dimensions where you would assume everything that was there before the split is still there. So if you dug up, this is what I'm trying to get to, if you dug up somebody's grave, the body would still be there because the split happens at a point, right?
Right.
It's not like Or maybe it's continuous. They run alongside each other. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'll shut up now because I don't even know what I'm saying.
No. I mean, I get what you're saying.
I think what I like about this movie is it doesn't shy away from the concept of an afterlife, but it doesn't try to explain it either. Like
No, it doesn't. More interested in the science, right?
Yeah, but also the whole scene with Oppie when he's explaining his near-death experience, like there's nothing scientific about that. It's just an experience, right?
Right.
He even says it, and this is a very common thing among people who survive near-death experiences where they say, I was at peace, and then I was suddenly back in my body, and I was with you again, right? So there is this sense of like this potential ecstasy when we die, right? And that's played with a lot in a lot of different film concepts and literary concepts, but I think it does. The movie I think toes that line really well. Another movie I think that would be a super good companion with this movie. So really, I'm just kind of like throwing out if you
The Frighteners.
Yeah, because it's New Zealand. Brainstorm. Brainstorm is this very like humanistic, like very rational, scientific film that deals with the concept of the afterlife. And proving an afterlife irrefutably through science. And what does that mean? Right? Fascinating. It's fascinating. It is super metaphysical stuff that if you liked this movie, you should see Brainstorm if you haven't seen it. Just kind of throwing that out there to the people who have recommended this.
What about Flatliners?
I almost made that joke.
I like Flatliners, but that's kind of like popcorn shit.
Sure.
Popcorn,
but it's playing
philosophy.
With that moment. Yeah,
it definitely is. It's playing.
I mean, I would say that truly Jacob's Ladder would be the companion I would.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob's Ladder is certainly in that conversation. Like that's also just kind of like how much reality can you build in your mind?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like how, like when you think about like what is real, how much of that tangible experience can be experienced solely within your mind.
Yeah.
And not like and have interactions with fully realized people and fully realized situations, and that all just be a concept and a concept of your mind. I mean, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I think about a lot, actually.
Yeah. So basically we're now in the last few minutes of this movie. I mean, like basically Zach has said, look, this is going to happen again. The science is there. It's going to happen again. We need to interrupt the grid. And we need to basically take the thing offline. Now, the problem is the way he escaped the grid, the facility in New Zealand when he went and accidentally tripped all of the...
he compromised the structure of the building, yeah.
Which allowed it to basically ionize. Like, basically it is... You'll vapor... You could potentially be radioactive.
You're going to get microwaved.
Right. If you show up next to it, or if you like drive up to it. So, but I do like that, Oppie knows it's like, well, I know where there's a bunch of fucking dynamite and C4 and shit. And so they go and they blow open that, they take it all and they put it on the back of
as much of it as they can, because there's a lot in that.
There's a lot in the building, and there's an awful lot on the back of a semi.
When he blows the hole, and Zach is like, well, it didn't do anything. And then it just falls perfectly for...
It's awesome.
And Joanne's like, he's an artist.
So they go and and they're driving towards the thing. And this is when, I mean, there's a nice little scene where like Joanne is in the car with Zach and he basically tells her, it's like, I figure you prefer Oppie. And he's okay with this. And I think this is already, he's decided what he's going to ultimately do.
Most certainly.
And he's basically saying hey, you kids, you kids go have a life, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely what he's doing. It's a redemption. It's a redemption arc.
Are you sure about that?
I do. I think
I would question that because he knows how he survived the first time.
Well, that's fair. But he would have to time it perfectly.
I mean, he would have to time it perfectly
like
one way or the other.
Would.
One way or the other. Like if it's going to succeed, he has to time it perfectly.
That's a really interesting point. Like, what if he is like, well, I can survive this, and I know I can survive this, and I'll let them have this dimension, and I'll move on to a new one. I mean, it's not necessarily like selfish, but it's also self-preserving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, again,
because he doesn't know what happened to the dimension he left the first time.
Right.
It's not like there's any assurances that those people lived.
Well, this is we're starting to get.
He doesn't even know if his experiment's going to work. If it's the grid, he just knows the effect is coming. Yeah.
Right. Well, and also, I mean,
maybe it is a little selfish. I don't like to read it that way.
No, I don't either. I mean, it's pretty cynical, I would say.
I don't think.
What kind of person is he? He's a cynical person.
I know, but no, I don't think he's cynical. I don't think he's cynical. He's
okay. Maybe cynical isn't the word, but yeah, it's just something to throw out there. Like,
well, it is interesting. I'm not going to deny it. I mean, it's another way to read it.
I mean, it's certainly. I mean, like. He could be microwaving himself to the point where he is about to die when he explodes.
He doesn't really.
I mean, he's going to die when he explodes.
He doesn't.
Right.
I mean, he's going to die.
Right.
But I mean, he is a man of science. He could be calculating this down to the nanosecond, and he could be like, I don't really know that it's the grid. This explosion might not do anything. I know that I'm going to die at the exact moment of the effect, and that means there's a good probability that means I will survive, and they won't.
I think there's something to that.
That's also like a really hard thing to convince somebody of. It's like, let's all just kill ourselves again at the moment of the effect.
Right.
And we'll live,
okay.
Right?
And if you put yourself in his position, he's been kind of shunned by her a little bit. She's made her choice.
I get that, but he could he could also be like, hey, if he really believed it, that this would work, that this is the only way to survive this, he could tell them. It doesn't mean they're going to shift together.
I'm not surprised he didn't.
It also is like kind of a crazy thing to try to convince somebody of.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a
now they know that it's worked before, but it's like, oof, do we really
that could have also been a 1 in a billion.
Do we really want to try that again? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And what if we go too far and we actually just die? I mean,
it would be 3 in a billion, not 1 in a billion.
He's also already thrown multiple theories out there. And yes, he does ultimately say he believes it's the grid, but maybe he doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just
saying he does, but he really believes the thing he just passionately talked about.
Said before it. Yes. It's interesting. Like, I do like the idea that he's self-sacrificing, but I also think he knows there's a good chance he's going to survive, even if that's what he's doing.
Like maybe he can do both, right?
Yes, maybe I can survive and save them.
And then maybe he's stuck wherever he is.
And that's the look on his face when it freeze frames. Yeah.
Well, that's a good question, because what is the look on his face? What do you guys think?
So that's
kind of Mona Lisa-ish.
It kind of is, because so what ends up happening is that he kind of like, he talks to Joanne and she's like, he's like, I know that you prefer him. That's whatever, and he's kind of coming to terms with that, and then he forgets that, oh yeah, there's a fucking truck in the way that Oppie can't drive around.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, I knew I forgot to tell him something. And the whole thing when Oppie like kind of basically pushes the thing out, and then she's like, "See ya," and it takes off with it.
Dude,
That was pretty funny.
dude, that
Yes.
whole scene is like masterclass in tension, because if this is a Romero movie, when he backs up really, really far and then drives through to get through it,
That bridge explodes.
that would have been a huge explosion. Yeah.
Well, and I like that.
Talk
there's,
about
like,
battle trucks. I thought
Yeah,
it was
no
going to
shit.
happen
There's
right
not
then.
a lot of humanism in Romero's work.
No, but I do like that Zach's like, isn't he backing up really far? It's like, what's he doing?
And why didn't they back up at that point? Like, they're fucking toast if that shit
There
explodes.
was
They're
no
way
way
too
in
close.
my mind. Yes, exactly. There was no way in my mind this scene didn't end in an explosion. Like,
Yeah.
truly. Yeah.
The movie could have ended right here. There were only 7 minutes left.
Right.
Like,
They
Yeah.
would have had to figure some shit out, right? Like,
Yeah.
they would have had to like pivot it. But I was almost convinced that he was toast, literally. Yeah.
But yeah, so Zach realizes that they can't go any closer, and he's trying to tell, and Oppie's like kind of goofing around, and you know, he and Joanne are having a laugh.
Oh, they were having a sex too. Pretty
Well,
soon.
that's pretty soon, but Zach is like, well, we can't go any closer, so we got to figure out some other way of getting the truck there. And Oppie is like, kind of, he has said that he was going to drive the truck in anyway, that was his role.
I'm the driver.
I'm the driver.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's kind of self-sacrificing in a way, but he could also be, you know, that could also be a murky thing as well. You know, he may see this as a doomed plane, and he's going to move on to the next one. But regardless, Zach's like, I'm the only one who knows what equipment I need from my remote control lawnmower to remote control drive the truck in, even though Oppie thinks that's not going to be good enough. But he's like, I'll see you in a couple of hours.
Not
And he
even
drives-
Zach thinks it's going to be good enough. Obviously.
No, obviously not. But
Nope.
he says, I'll see you guys in a couple of hours. Why don't you guys get all snuggly in the naked way?
Naked time.
That's another reason, though, that I do think Zach was planning on making another dimensional jump, because they didn't even try to do the remote control. Now, as a scientist, I guess he maybe would know it's not going to work.
I just think it was an excuse to get away, so that he wouldn't have the whole like
Sure.
conversation.
Sure.
It was just an excuse to get away.
Sure.
He probably knew he couldn't get there back in time anyway, and that it wouldn't work. Yeah.
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 So yeah, they do the thing, and then they hear the truck, and it's like, hey, that's pretty quick. It's only been
It's
40
only been
minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah. And
Hobby doesn't last very long.
Yeah, I was
man,
gonna
I'll tell
say
you what.
it's a 2 pump truck.
no, he says 40 minutes.
He says 20.
Was it?
Yes. I just watched it like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah,
He said
they-
20.
Okay, I guess it was. I thought it was.
They were
40, but
already
yeah,
in like post-coitus bliss for
Oh
quite a
yeah.
while.
Well, it's
He
been
had
a
already
bit.
smoked 2 cigarettes. Come on.
Yeah. It's been a pretty lonely existence.
Well,
Yeah,
and
I-
Joanne is pretty cute.
I'm not
so,
blaming him. I'm
Yeah.
not blaming him. Just stating facts.
so,
Science.
but yeah, so they're like, yeah,
Science.
there's no way he got back to his beachside resort
Sure.
and gotten back here, and he drives the thing, and the whole thing explodes. They watch, and the shift or whatever happens again, and Zach ends up on the beach and watches Saturn, or something that looks like Saturn, rise over the horizon off the water.
Yeah.
And he's got this look like, oh my fucking God.
The look of awe.
Where would he be, Jeff?
Shock.
Where would he be? What planet would you have to be on for that Saturn
Titan.
rise?
Yeah, it'd be on Titan, probably.
Yeah. Unless it's alien, like beyond our solar system.
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
I mean, it could be, but like if you want to see it in the solar system, you have to be on one of the moons of Saturn, and Titan's the only one that's got water and an atmosphere. So, Yeah.
But that
Anyway.
that isn't like clearly communicated.
No. I mean, I think it's just he's just in another form of reality. You could also argue that he's in a heavenly place where heaven is just kind of a mishmash of everything in the cosmos, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
heaven's not a place on earth.
They say on heaven, love comes first.
No,
I don't even
Oppie
know
comes
if
first.
Oppie comes first. Ooh, Joanna's probably pissed off.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you think?
The guy on the movie, the writer producer said,
the guy on the movie.
the guy in the movie, he said, we all thought it was quite simple. I mean, our intention was just that what happened was he died at the moment of the effect for a second time, and he's now found himself in another world. What the hell is he going to do? It's like, yeah. I mean, I kind of buy that simple explanation. Like
So what do you think?
he dimension jumped.
You think he's happy? Like that's what I wonder. Like, to me, it looked like he was grateful that he survived and that he was looking forward again to starting over. That's the way it read to me.
I think, like, on his face, I think there is. I think it's just an expression of wonder and what's next. I don't think there's any fear. I think it's an expression of I think kind of numinous bewilderment. Right?
But for a guy who just tried to kill himself, this is a pretty miraculous kind of place to be in, like, mentally.
I also kind of buy your theory of that he thought he could survive this, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he knew where he was going to end up, or if he would end up. So yes, I think he's surprised and happy that he's alive in some way, but I don't think he understands what his existence is.
Right, like the idea that he's alive is tenuous. Anyway,
right. It is a little bit like starting over, right?
Yeah.
When we're born in this world, we don't understand our own existence. Do we even understand our own existence now? Debatable. And
is he going to age the same way in this new place?
And then he started over again in a place where he was there for maybe half a year. And what was that existence? And now he's starting over again in a third existence. What is he? What the hell is he?
And
like,
and
how do you even comprehend what you are, where you are, who you are?
Yeah,
right?
The where is a big thing, because at least in the second go round, he knew
he had physics to center him on Earth, at least.
And now there's fucking clouds that touch the ground and fucking Saturn in the sky.
Right.
What is it? Well, I have no concept anymore.
A lot of his laws of physics are now no longer useful to him as well. Yeah.
And he also doesn't know if he's alone here. Right. He's alone on that beach, but you could be alone on many beaches.
Yeah. Oh, he could turn around and there could be a giant city behind him. We don't know.
Yeah.
He could turn around. There's like fucking 3-headed people and, like 6 eyeballs.
He could turn around and Appy and Joanna are there. And he's like, oh, fuck.
Totally. Well, it could be. It could be he's just like Midnight Specialist, and he's just seeing like the world that lives on top of our world, right? Who knows? Like, maybe he's like been granted a power perception. He's able to move into that world now. But it could all still be our world. Yeah. I mean, it could be anything. It could be fucking anything. Like, make it up. Whatever it fits your worldview, I wouldn't argue with it. It's just kind of like that broad.
He's kind of like Charlton Heston in the Omega Man.
Like,
you see that movie? It's beauty.
Omega Man? It's a beauty.
It's beauty. It's beauty.
It's good. I quite like this movie. I kind of want to read the novel.
I'm mad at that one like 10-minute span of the movie.
I don't disagree.
And that's it.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Otherwise, I really, really, really enjoyed it.
It's really wonky.
I was kind of curious because Chuck, it's famous. You don't like science fiction, but this is.
I don't
but
like
I
science
do.
fiction.
But I do think that this is also something more than much like the idea of like existence, other like near death experiences and other planes of existence that could be. That doesn't have to be sci-fi, right? So it's like, yeah.
Yes,
one of these days,
movies I would recommend people watch. That if you like The Quiet Earth, watch Brainstorm 2001, 2010. Watch Silent Running. Watch I Am Legend, Midnight Special, Contact. A movie called The Idaho Transfer, which I'll probably talk about in a few weeks in the What Are We Watching episode. I want to get into it now. It's not a good movie, but it's interesting and it fits in this mold. Watch those movies if you like this movie. There's a lot of really good kind of like hard sci-fi, but also just like philosophical sci-fi in those films, including.
I'm not positive you were going to ask me a question, Jeff, but I'm going to answer what I think you were saying.
Yes.
I like this because it examines people. Any movie that really gets at the heart of people, like regardless of the genre, I can get into. And this movie is looking at the hearts of people, and I like that.
Yeah. Yep. I think that that's the most special thing about this movie is that, it could be a lot of things, and it chooses to be a very small, no pun intended, quiet movie that ponders the existence of.
It almost doesn't feel sci-fi in a lot of ways. It only gets kind of sci-fi jargony a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a movie that is special in its uniqueness, and it is a movie that might be, well, I think Jason summed this up it's better than you expect it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a movie that's largely not known. Yeah.
My last note on this is, I won't name the listener mostly because I can't remember the name right now, but I want to know what they think of this episode. So when this drops on YouTube, please put a comment out there. Let us know that Jeff was wrong and Jason was wrong.
I want to know what they think.
Chuck was right. I don't know. I'm joking.
I want to know I want to know what they think about the ending. I want to know what their worldview is. How do they perceive this film? And did we maybe make them think about something
they hadn't,
outcomes that they hadn't thought of before.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued by that because that it's cool to hear other people's perspectives. Obviously we hear each other's all the time.
I thought about things, just talking about the movie with you guys that I hadn't thought about watching the movie. So I feel like that's always a sign of an interesting film when you can. There's a lot to unpack. And there's a lot of different ways to read a certain thing.
I have a feeling I'll be thinking about this movie for a while after we're done tonight.
Oh, 100%.
I have a feeling I'll be watching this movie many, many times more in the future as well. Yeah. And
I think one of the things that's really kind of cool about this, and this is not necessarily, if somebody thinks about this, that's not wrong, but almost the least interesting thing you can think about after watching this movie is, what would I do in this scenario?
Yeah.
The movie gives you so much more to think about. Yeah, the movie gives you so much more to think about than that.
Yeah, there are other movies for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to do that in, I Am Legend or Dawn of the Dead or something like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that those movies are lesser because you think of those things. That's what those movies can help you.
Well, when there are external forces.
Exactly.
Like there's one external force in this movie in reality, right? It's the event is going to happen again. Yeah,
the effect, whether that's reality or not.
I keep calling it the event, but it's the effect.
Yeah, but that whether that's reality or not, in reality, that is the only thing that is ticking away at them and bearing down on them.
And that's the conflict of the movie, right?
Yeah.
I love that the conflict of the movie is not other people, which is like, this could have gone on a whole like Walking Dead.
We've seen that way too many times.
Way too many times.
Right.
I was so glad it wasn't this movie. Like, I cannot tell you how relieved I was.
When she dropped the gun and hugged?
Yes. when they both did, right? It was like I couldn't tell you how relieved I was. It's like, thank God it's not that movie, right? Let's talk about like two things. How do we live in this world and find other humans, right? Like making that a priority, I think, is so beautiful. And then also, like, yeah, what is the effect and how do we understand it and maybe prevent it, right? Two very, I think, natural, rational, logical approaches.
100%.
Yeah, I really dug it.
Excellent. Well, you want to talk about what's coming up next week?
Yeah, what's coming up next week?
All right, let's talk about that.
Next week.
We got, on Wednesday, December 3rd, go to filmseizure.com or to our YouTube channel or to any of the other places.
Lots of them.
Where we upload or where the episodes end up. And we are going to talk about Phase 4.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a bunch of ants. We're gonna cover ourselves with ants.
Yep.
And then talk about ants.
We're gonna kind of keep a little bit in keeping with the existential theme of this week and moving into next week with something a little different, but something a little similar.
Yeah. So yeah, that will be on December 3rd. So again, go to filmseizure.com. You can find all the places that you can find us, and you can follow us on social medias and all of that jazz over there. Also at filmseizure.com on Monday, December 1st, I have a new episode of Monster Mondays where I'm going to talk about Lake Mungo.
Oh yeah.
Fun little mockumentary / sort of found footage movie. So yeah, that is at on December 1st, filmseizure.com. That's Monster Mondays. This upcoming Friday at my website, bmovieanima.com, it is a first. It only took like 510 episodes, but Ed Wood is coming to B Movie Anima.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, and I am reviewing Bride of the Monster.
That's insane. You've never covered.
Yeah. It's almost low-hanging. It's almost too low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's not as low-hanging fruit as, like, say, The Room or Samurai Cop. But, yeah, I had to do it at some point. So there it is. Anyway. All right. Well, I'm going to go, I don't know, quantum leap into another existence. And I'll probably never come home. So see you guys later. I'm Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm going to miss you, and I'm Chuck Moore.
I'm Jason Oliver, and bye.